Well, good morning to everybody. We are going to try to have a little bit of fun talking about clinical research and getting to know each other a little bit. One of the things about this is I do like for it to be interactive. I am going to ask questions, so feel free to unmute yourself and answer the questions as they come up. We're going to check knowledge along the way to make sure that we're all on the same page, and it's going to be quite a bit of fun. I have been in the clinical research industry now for 20 years, which literally is half of my life. So now you can actually figure out how old I am. Although I do try to tell people I started when I was 5 years old, just so that I'm really only 25 and not 40. But nobody actually believes me, so there you go. I tripped and fell into the industry like a lot of people. There aren't a ton of people that, at least when I started, that said, hey, I want to be a clinical researcher, I want to be in the industry when I grow up. A lot of us found it accidentally, and I'm one of those people, and it was a great fit for my personality. It is a lot of fun. You do a lot of wonderful things that are good, and you help a lot of people along the way. So clinical research really matters. And if it's something that is new to you, and I think Mia said that it is, then you may not be aware of how we got here, how did we get these current laws, what do they mean, why do we have them, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to cover all of that today. I'm really excited about it. Oh, and also, in case you're wondering what the awesome letters behind my name are, it's Registered Quality Assurance Professional in Good Clinical Practices. And so my primary wheelhouse is auditing and making sure that all of the rules are being followed in clinical research and that the rights, welfare, and safety of people who take experimental medications and devices and all of that are protected. So that's kind of my background. If you have any other questions about me as we go through this, please let me know. I am a very fast talker, and if we get a little behind, I'll talk even faster. So if I am just moving along too quick, stop me and tell me to slow down. Totally welcome to do that. I will not at all be offended. I'm really excited to be here with you today. So we are going to get started and jump right on into this. So our learning objectives, we're going to describe the different phases of drug development. We're going to be able to differentiate between drug development and medical device development because they're different. They're similar but different. And we're going to be able to discuss the historical events and importance of good clinical practice throughout the world in clinical research. So this is going to cover a lot of material in a shorter period of time. So don't worry if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't ever remember all of this. You know, keep your copy of the presentation and go back to it. Go back to the regulations. Those are the things that are going to be with you, and it takes a little bit of time to kind of make this innate in your soul. And honestly, I mean, after 20 years, I absolutely literally can quote regulatory requirements, which either makes me awesome or weird, and I don't know which. So work with me on that. But it does take time. And I remember when I was new to the industry, there are like 4 million acronyms, and it's crazy. So give yourself a ton of grace on that, and just know I'm going to have to go back and look at things a couple of times so that I can really kind of assimilate it and generalize it. All right, so research starts with volunteers. So have you guys, or do you know anybody who's ever considered participating in a clinical trial? So tell me if you've had any experience before.
No, everybody should know.
Go here.
And
We got one person.
Awesome. So do you remember what you heard about that trial? Do you remember what you were told about it?
Yeah, I actually shouldn't say anything because I worked at a CRO, so.
So you're pretty well versed.
Yeah.
Well, I have been both on the research side and on the volunteer side. So in my side gig life, my side job is I'm a clinical counselor. So I'm a licensed professional counselor in my state, and I see individuals, couples, and families. And I was given the opportunity to participate in testing some counseling software. Well, I was super, super excited about it, of course, because I'm a research geek at heart. And so I totally was doing that. And I remember reading the advertisements and the flyers and all of that stuff and being excited to participate in something. And I know other folks who have participated, and maybe they're looking for a cure, especially with, stage 4 cancer trials. Those things, sometimes your hope is that your life is going to be saved, that it is going to work and it's going to prolong your life or give you a better quality of life. So clinical trials can be a very attractive thing. And there are folks out there who just want to help. They want to participate in science. And then there are phase 1 clinical trials, which are sometimes their own animal, and we'll get to that. So why do we want to do clinical research? What's the point? Well, it starts with a good idea, right? So in clinical research, somebody says, hey, I think maybe this, whatever it is, and they go from there. And so if you see the little cartoon, people always feel happier when a dog licks their face. So we're developing a new antidepressant made from dog drool.